Go down to the mic and what?
I'm just gonna double check. Yep, that's your interface. That is also your speaker. You can change that speaker to the as system.
Okay, speaker to which system?
Yeah, you can just say same as system. That's fine. Well, actually, I guess that's a good question. Do you want to hear anyone on Zoom through the speakers or through the TV?
Whichever's louder, right?
All right, that is louder. All right, yeah, then we'll switch that back to the MGX.
So leave it same or
Yeah, so both microphone and speaker can be MGX. MG.
MGXU?
That's right. One more time. Like that.
Oh,
Yep, that should work.
okay.
All right, and if we wanted to just double check our audio settings now for levels, at the very bottom of that menu is audio settings. So at the mic where the arrow is, the arrow, and then at the very bottom is audio settings.
I was fighting it and I finally started feeling like the pressure. At least the third time.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I've been fighting it.
1, 2, 3, 4. And if you wanted to just test mine, just confirm that the output's correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh. Yeah. We can do it. We can all do it. Yeah, we'll do that. You went into background effects. We canceled the audio test because we navigated away from that pane. So we'll jump back to audio. And we're going to hit test mic. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, looks like he's not pushing out. If you don't mind just hitting test speaker for a second.
How are you? Good.
Thank you.
The next meeting is going to, we got two things to do. We have to do the responses for the budget thing at the next meeting, and then we're gonna try to do every 2 weeks planning for the event. Oh, okay. That's right, you were. You were. Yes, always take. You always take. Get extra.
Oh, we'll just stop. And then we'll test speaker one more time. Test mic one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so you're good on audio. Looks like video is already capturing the audio, so you're good there. So yeah, your audio and video settings are fine. All the mics are currently on. You can mute. That will cut the everywhere on Zoom. So that's pretty much it. I guess the last thing, it's a little rough. We could set ignore zones. Usually I set an ignore zone on the TV, but it looks like there are a couple of people in between the camera and the TV, and you don't want to lose them.
That's the people over there.
Yeah, so I think that we should probably just leave it as
Okay.
is, and that way it's not there.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be it. Did you have any slides that you were going to share?
We did. Let me check with Hakeem.
yourself? Good. I will do that. One, two.
So should I just download this on?
Yeah, so
I
let's
just
go
have a
ahead.
few documents on it, so I.
You have anything? All right. Yeah, let's pull the clicker out temporarily.
Okay, great.
All right.
So it's just that one, the CB9. Nope, not that one. There we go. Okay. Perfect.
Sometimes it takes too long. Well, at least it's not
Thank you so much.
1995.
Yeah, seriously. All right, thank you.
Sure thing. So when you do get the,
I've been better.
And we all. That's 2 weeks.
I know.
Just send something.
And it's
to
just, look at the first row, Victor. She would be there or right there.
I walked by her building. I was like, oh, forgot. Take a while. Wow. You know, I haven't seen it in a while. Hotel.
Really? Oh, I guess I don't feel it because she's at seniors. She was at the special
Oh, no, that's
meeting.
right. I came late last GB. She was there.
Yeah,
Okay.
she good.
I gotta look at virtual attendance. How we're gonna count that. I just got something from Darren that said she can't come. Said she just got called for her job. You know, the flight thing, flying. I'm walking out the door, I get called now. I'll be online.
you can allow that.
Where is it? Oh, allow.
The only thing that I would probably mention is, so yeah, when were you planning on making these presentations? Was that the start or in the middle somewhere?
It's It's at the beginning. Right? The presentation.
Yeah, it's at the beginning.
At the beginning? All right. So what you're doing could work. I would probably suggest ending the screen share, launching PowerPoint, and then sharing the screen it generates.
So stop sharing.
Yeah, because when that goes in, it's going to, yeah. So now that we did that, just swap that. And so we're gonna come over to our PowerPoint. If this is the first thing, we'll just go ahead and start it. That's going to change this to a presenter mode, preview mode. So two different spaces. But we can four-finger swipe up, go right back to Zoom. And when we go into share now, it's going to create the second desktop, which is actually going to be the slides that we're going to share now.
Okay.
So
You said four finger.
yeah,
Swipe up.
four-finger swipe up is just going to bring up this dock so you can see everything that's happening on your desktop. Same thing over here. So right now you have your slides over here. If you do have other virtual participants, you can bring them over there if you want. But as soon as you end the PowerPoint, it's going to come back to a single view, and then you can like maximize the Zoom participants. Everyone can see everyone.
Okay. I need to go into participants to change people
Yeah, you can still
into what it says invite. Okay.
Yeah, if you hit the arrow, it'll bring you up to an invite screen or contacts. If you just need to like elevate people, you can tap it
That's
yourself.
what I need to do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I wanted. Okay. Yeah, it's over there. The elected sign-in sheet. It should be on the table. Excuse me.
It should be pretty simple. It's either a split screen had someone else use it.
Not me. And Lucas, Christina, what else there? It's all small. They are, I think, as we work but they might have to leave early, so they're not really right up before it. Oh, that's who that was.
No, no, I'm not sitting there. I'll get my coat. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. None of these guys.
That's how it starts. That's how it starts.
Sorry. We didn't meet.
There you go. You gave me the impression you were gonna make it.
I didn't know you had a call.
I didn't. It came. I took it because it did.
Okay, let's see what we can
But
do after.
can we?
Yeah. Well,
But you said about this stuff. Yeah, I was doing.
gotta, I did a lot. Echo. I gotta go back for Echo part of it. Saw something last time. No, just not. Gail Brewer represents 7. Yeah, he's running against. Oh, you listening to him?
Can you please turn up the volume?
We haven't started yet.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. It was a good meeting with, yeah.
Yes. Right. Yusuf is 9.
Who's running
Oh.
against the group?
Tiffany Tom and Nadaf.
Now, you said nobody's running against him so far. Yeah, but then you keep talking about the guy that keeps saying he's not my district. I'm right. What you talking about? The Alfie at 7? Yep. He's running against a group, right?
Excellent. All right, we're gonna get
Brew at 7?
Sit down.
I will. A brew at 7, right? Salam is 9. I will. Salam is 9. Correct?
Yes,
Annette,
Salam is 9.
Council District 9.
council district. No, don't come back. Go sit down.
I get dismissed by better people.
Now you've been dismissed by me?
Oh. No, he's 7. He's not.
Sorry. Or 9. Not council district. Get it?
He's running in Council District 7 against Sean Brady. Why not? You live in 7. You're on 110th and Broadway? That's not fair. Yusuf might, but
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah. I try to hope he straighten it out. Who was that? Dolphin? He said he got some good stuff. You know the apps me once, I gotta get out of here. Apps me once us to pass the repeal the 1906 law. No, but the Social Security. He wants to place in there.
look, you're in 7. But you're on 110th and Broadway. So your community district 9, which is 4, but your city councilmatic district 7. Yeah, so councilmatic district 7, right there. The barrier is hard on one side, so right here, there's 7. So you're integrating.
I don't know much about him. She used to be on the board. Tiffany used to be.
Yeah.
Tiffany Carter used to be on the board.
Hey, that's why you right for it.
Yeah. How about that? There's a Starbucks up the street there. I thought it was like 6:30. Yes. Yeah. I was there
Hello,
when
Miss
Yusuf
Dunn.
announced that he was running. Because my neighbor on my block, she's on his committee now. I just thought from where he came from, he was being, but he wanted to get, I guess, she's great. She's been to the way too long. She's wealthy. She does not need to be. Now, years ago, she was effective. Yeah, but that didn't happen for them. That didn't happen for me. And she was, she's crazy. I could remember he ran against, what's the name? When they redistricted, he was over here. They had to run against each other. She did it both ways.
And there's Paul.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Oh, you had an appointment today?
yeah, that's right. No, I actually signed it to the thing that I had.
Hey, go for Agri.
I think we're too short of a quorum.
We're still by 2.
Because Paulton came in, Marita came in.
I know. So Daria is
She's not coming. Just text.
Oh, then we should mark her as excused, right?
We're almost at quorum, so maybe we should get started with the presentation.
Yes.
I think we're 4 short.
For sure.
Did you cross, is it cross?
What?
You crossed off names of the people who were.
No, who do we remove?
Sojourner resign, Ernesto Graham, Divine Essence White, and Nicholas. Close enough.
All right. So we were at 47. 46.
Okay, we'll get started.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna talk about you. I gotta check, I don't think so. I looked.
Good evening, all. Can you have seats? We're getting ready to get started. Thank you.
Oh, Nico, I don't have any.
You ready?
Yep.
Excuse me.
So, that's fine. Can I start while you guys are figuring it out? Oh, okay. Okay, good evening once again. Welcome to Community Board 9's General Board meeting for the month of February 2025. My name is Victor Edwards. I have the pleasure of being the chair of the board. I'd like to call a meeting to order at 6:47. I make a motion to adopt the agenda and a motion to adopt the minutes with any necessary corrections.
So moved, Ted.
Thank you, Ted. Okay. We have one presentation tonight, and we have several action items, so we'll try to move things along as best we can. Before we start this evening, I just wanted to remind people of our loss to the board and loss of a neighbor and a friend, Carolyn Thompson, longtime member of this board, neighbor of mine, friend of mine, passed away this past week. It's been kind of difficult, but we will make through it. We don't have any information about plans as of yet, but as they become available, we will let everyone know. I'm working with the 3O on some other things, maybe a separate memorial as well. So we will keep you informed, keep the family and our friends in your thoughts and prayers as we move forward. If we can just take a moment, excuse me, we can just take a moment of silence to thoughts, whatever you might want to do within that time, and think of Callan, who would have been sitting here in front of us. That would be fitting, I believe. Thank you. Thank you all. Just a difficult week. I lost 2 people in 2 weeks, so just trying to deal with it. Okay, we have a presentation on proposed changes to New York discovery law to be given by Legal Aid. Yes, thank you. And this is being done because I want to make sure we have all the information before we make a decision on this new change to the discovery law. We also will have someone from the DA's office coming as well to give that portion as well. I've heard some of both sides. I'm not 100% clear. So before we move forward in something that represents us, I want to make sure we're clear on what we are putting forward. Okay? And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you guys so much for having me. So you want me to stay here and just get the clicker, or?
Either one. Oh. Clicker. Oh.
All right, well, thank you guys again for having me, and I'll try to be brief. And of course, not having the benefit of sort of knowing what my colleagues at the DA's office are going to say, I'll try to anticipate it and address those issues. But, we're here because, oh, this is not working.
Not working.
I think it's not. Oh, it's just not on. There we go.
Can you do it from there?
Okay. So some of you may be familiar with Khalif's Law or not. As Victor said, I am an attorney with the Legal Aid Society. However, I'm also here on behalf of the Alliance to Protect Khalif's Law, which is made up of a group of lawyers, advocates, impacted people, members of the community who are, we're about, I think at this point, I don't want to get the number wrong, but at least 20 plus organizations strong across the state.
You have to move a little bit closer.
Sorry, I'm trying to look at people. That's probably not,
You can disconnect it.
you know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna, this is okay. I'm just gonna do this, sorry.
Yeah.
So we formed this alliance because we found out that there was an effort before the governor even proposed changes in her budget to majorly change our discovery law. And just to kind of set the groundwork in case you're not familiar, in criminal law, discovery in all law, the discovery is basically the exchange of information that happens between the parties. So in the criminal context, that means mostly information that's being provided by the police to the person accused of a crime, or really the police via the prosecutor. And it will mostly consist of things like police reports, witness statements, 911 calls, body-worn camera footage, things of that nature. And it also includes really core information like the name of the person who's accusing you of a crime. And the reason we needed the reform was because prior to 2020, when it went into effect, people were not entitled under the statute to very critical evidence unless the prosecutor intended to introduce it in court. So if there was a video that potentially exculpated you, although they might have had a constitutional obligation to turn it over, the statute itself didn't protect that. It didn't ensure that, because they only had to provide things that they intended to use. And also they only had to give them to you on the eve of trial, certain things like the person's name, their statements. And so as you can imagine, this resulted in a lot of unfairness. And basically it meant that there were no consequences also. There was no way to enforce these rules and to sort of encourage prosecutors to comply faster, because there were no real consequences unless we could show how our failure to have it earlier, the, let's say, witness statement, was gonna prejudice us at the trial. But we were having to do that before the trial even happened. So it was sort of a backwards logic. And the problem is that the reason that this law in 2020, when it was passed, was named Khalif's Law, it was because it was named after Khalif Browder, who was a 16-year-old young man who was arrested for allegedly stealing a backpack and had bail set on him that his family couldn't make, and he sat on Rikers Island for over 3 years, and subsequently and tragically took his life as a result of the trauma that he experienced when he was at Rikers Island. It turned out there was no evidence to support his guilt. And beyond that, the one witness, the man who had misidentified him as the person who had robbed him, had gone to Mexico. Soon after his case had been brought before a grand jury and he had been indicted. And the prosecutor never told the defense that. And they never had to give his information to the defense. So the defense attorney couldn't go and look for this guy and find out that he was gone. And so it wasn't until the judge finally, about, over 3 years later, said, okay, enough is enough. We got to take this case to trial, or, something's got to give here, that came to light and his case was dismissed. So this law was basically adopted to ensure, in addition to bail reform and raise the age, to ensure that there were no more Kalief Browders, that did not happen again. And in any event, the concern that, the reason that this happened often was because the answer to, if I was, I was working as a trial attorney in the Bronx when Kalief Browder was, his case was going through the courts. So I was working under that sort of regime. And what would happen was, if we said, oh, I don't have this evidence, judge, I need this evidence, I need to be able to investigate my case, the judge would just say, okay, well, you'll be fine as long as you get it before the trial. So prosecutor, get it to them, and we're going to adjourn the case again for trial. And what would happen is that would happen over and over and over and over again. And so you would wind up 2-3 years later in a situation where now we're going to trial. And I haven't had a chance to fully investigate the case. I haven't had a chance to prepare my defense, right? So I just want to set the stage that is the situation that brought this about. And I've sort of said all of this, but it essentially led to a lot of wrongful convictions and prolonged incarceration. And even where somebody was in fact guilty, right, it took us that much longer to get to the point where a person could really see the evidence against them and make an informed decision. So more often than not, right, regardless of guilt or innocence, people were making these critical decisions that had really huge impacts on their lives without any information. So discovery reform balanced the scales in that respect by expanding the scope of what was required to be disclosed, making sure that it had to be disclosed early enough that it could be put to use, and ensuring that there were consequences if prosecutors broke the rules. And so I want to first just address, because I saw the resolution that was sent to you all, and I think there were a lot of inaccuracies within it that I want to address, because I know that these proposals are being supported, obviously, by the district attorney's office, as well as the other district attorneys in the city, the police department, the mayor, and I think it's really important that you all know all of the facts. So the first claim is that, there's this claim in the resolution that this is this unparalleled law that doesn't exist elsewhere in the country. That's inaccurate. Before we got discovery reform, believe it or not, New York, this liberal state, was one of the most regressive states when it came to discovery. That is pretty much undisputed. But now we are just one of 40 states that has open file discovery. Now, the way that works, sure, is different in other places, and that's because they all have different speedy trial rules. And I don't want to give you guys teach you about speedy trial right now, because it's a very complicated system in New York. But what I can tell you is New York has a very bizarre and unique speedy trial process as well. It's one of the things that contributed to Kalief Browder's situation. And the reason our system is different is in part because of that difference. And so I just want to highlight that. And it is our position, after reviewing the proposal that the governor has put in place, the statutory language, that this will again, essentially, if it's adopted, reverse the progress that has been made and will bring us back to a time when prosecutors get to decide what is and isn't relevant to a person's case. And it will lead to, once again, to coercive pleas and the delay of progress of criminal cases. The other really problematic claim is that they're saying these cases are being dismissed over nothing, over minor evidence. and sort of automatically, regardless of what the prosecutor does. And that's just not true. I mean, I could come here with a stack of printed out cases. It's not true. The Court of Appeals, that quote there is from the Court of Appeals from a 2023 decision, where they literally said in interpreting this statute, there is no rule of strict liability. The statute does not require or anticipate a perfect prosecutor. If the prosecutor does their due diligence, if they look for the evidence diligently, if they make the right requests from the police and they're unable to obtain something, their case doesn't get dismissed. They're just ordered to turn it over. So that is incorrect. Also, and I'm sorry, I know I'm running long, I'm gonna try to speed it up, but prosecutors' cases are not dismissed in short time frames. They've been telling you, and they've repeated this in the press, that they have 20 or 35 days. You may have heard that. Maybe you've heard 15 days. That is totally inaccurate. Those timeframes in the statute are unenforceable. The only enforcement mechanism for the discovery statute is the speedy trial statute. And the speedy trial statute requires that they be ready within 90 plus days on a misdemeanor or 6 months on a felony. And it doesn't apply at all to homicides. So a homicide case cannot be dismissed because of a discovery violation. Okay, I'm gonna go rush through this data and basically just tell you the main points. So the brass tacks here are that there is dismissal data cited in that resolution. I wanna shed some light on it because I think there's a lot of fear mongering going on about dismissals and why they're happening, and then also what the result of the dismissals are. So serious felony cases, to proceed with a serious felony case, the prosecutor has to indict it. They have to put it before a grand jury and they have to get an indictment. If a case is indicted, it goes into Superior Court in New York State, Supreme Court in the city, right? Same thing. This is a screenshot from New York State's court website. This is not my data, this is the court's data. If you see, I selected New York City as the region and Superior Court, which means indicted felonies. This is a chart that shows dismissal rates. The speedy trial dismissal rate is so small, you can't even see it on that chart. It's that circled little blue line. So cases are, and the only way, again, for a case to be dismissed for a discovery violation is if it's a speedy trial violation. So it is lies if they tell you that serious cases are being dismissed because of discovery reform. They're simply not. Many of the cases that are being dismissed, almost all of them are misdemeanors. These are the more minor crimes, right? And I'm not saying we don't take minor crimes seriously, but what I am saying is that many of those cases were never going to be taken seriously by the DA's office. What was gonna happen is those people were gonna be offered what's called a violation, like a disorderly conduct, or an ACD, which is like a delayed dismissal. What that means for a person is not that they go to jail, it's not that there is any sort of real deterrent to committing another crime, it means that they have to pay a surcharge generally. So a person, like my clients who are indigent, they have to pay $120 to basically be processed through the system. That's all you're doing to them, right? So we're talking about the difference. These cases that are being dismissed, they are not the serious cases that have an impact on public safety. And the person who is getting their case dismissed would otherwise have been getting a slap on the wrist and being sent home. And so I just want to put that in context, because while there has been an increase in dismissals, I'm not saying there has not, in misdemeanor criminal court, that's what we're talking about. It's those cases. And the reason it's happening is because prosecutors, rightly so, don't prioritize them over more serious cases. And the fact is, before discovery reform, they never had to do any work on them. They just were able to process them through, file a complaint, and move on. Another just key point is that, and this is how we know this is not the automatic result of the discovery law, if you look at data across the state, so if you see at the top left-hand corner of that chart, it says ONYC, that means outside New York City. So that's the rest of the state. The dismissal rate's actually lower than it was before discovery reform. And in case I wasn't clear, like 2019 is before discovery reform. We've had discovery reform in place since 2020. And as you can see, outside of New York City, there's not been an increase at all in dismissals. And that, so That says there's something going on in New York City that's not happening out elsewhere. So we can't blame the law that ensures fairness. We have to look elsewhere. We have to look for solutions that address other issues. And so this is just another screenshot of data this is from, also from the state court's website. But these are other large population centers that aren't like averages. This is, those counties. And as you can see, there's actually been a decrease in dismissals in a lot of other large places, like Monroe County, where Rochester is, Erie, where Buffalo is. And in the places where there have been increases elsewhere, they're really small increases that aren't really statistically significant. So there is an issue in New York City misdemeanor cases. And that issue, as I said, is that there's a problem with volume. And I'm not here to attack NYPD at all, I promise. But there has been an issue of, from my view, some over-policing of minor offenses that has led to an increased volume of cases. That is part of the issue. So they have to process a lot more cases. But also, there is a resistance to information sharing. And there's a resistance within the DA's office, from my perspective, and I see this because I know what happened during COVID when the rules were paused, to actually sharing evidence, to changing the culture of how their offices operate. And it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but they are, the decision-making process has been I think in sort of the leadership of the DA's offices has essentially been to focus more on trying to change the law from the minute it got passed, over focusing on solutions to making it work. And so there's been a solution that's been suggested that's not in the governor's budget that I think would be very effective at addressing the main issue within New York City. And that is a bill that's been proposed to give prosecutors' offices direct access to NYPD databases. So, and it's not limited to NYPD, it's all police departments' databases across the state, right, for all prosecutors. The idea is that then they won't have to go hunting down individual officers with individual pieces of paper, and it would make everyone's life easier. It could all just be online, and they could just download it at once, and cases would stop being dismissed. So finally, I just want to highlight, I'm not going to go through the individual pieces of the proposal, but through a lot of changes, pretty wholesale changes, they're not tweaks, even though that's the way it's being presented. It will essentially end full and transparent evidence sharing by giving prosecutors discretion to decide what evidence is relevant and which items should be withheld from the police. They can redact whatever they want, essentially. That's one of the parts of the law. It will enable the police to withhold crucial evidence because there won't be any consequences. Right now, the law requires the disclosure of anything that is in the prosecutor's actual possession, or rather, I'm sorry, anything that's in the police's possession. They don't distinguish between the police and prosecutors. In the bill that the governor is proposing, they will limit what's discoverable to what's in the prosecutor's actual possession. So if a police officer doesn't disclose a piece of evidence to the police, right, or to the prosecutor rather, and that is how wrongful convictions can happen, there will be no accountability for ensuring that they get it. And it's going to, in doing that, it's going to basically turn what's been a really meaningful law into a toothless guideline. And so we're just asking that you all not sign that resolution, and that you consider supporting the other bill that I was talking about, and just continued funding for both prosecutors and defense attorneys. Because if we don't have it, we can't implement these laws effectively. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, and I'm sorry I took so long. Did you? Yeah. A lot of it in solitary confinement, yeah. Yes, I 100, yes. Yeah, that's my opinion anyway. Yes.
Long-standing law. So I'd like to know what is throwing money at this going to make a difference with people actually just doing their job?
Okay, that's a great question. So it is a longstanding law that you have to share information. But as I said, for a very long time, it was very limited what prosecutors actually had to provide. So it was like a stack of paper and maybe a video or two. So it didn't require much work on their part. Now they are required to give us everything, which is what it should be, but that takes more effort, it takes more hours of work, it takes more technology, right? And all of those things require money. And so when the law was first implemented or first went into effect, the legislature didn't fund it. So there was no extra funding given to DAs or to the defense to actually implement the law. And that really hindered its ability to be effective. In the last couple of years, both sides have gotten funding, and it's improved tremendously. Like our ability to actually efficiently make these cases work and to actually review all of the discovery on both sides has been an astronomical change. So I don't think I think that the money helps. I mean, I'm not saying they need a lot more money. I think they need to have the same funding they've gotten in the last 2 legislative sessions. But I think that, but yeah, it's just, it increased the responsibilities on both sides, I would say, if that makes sense.
So as I said in the beginning, we will have someone from the DA's office presenting as well, so we can get a balanced position on this before we go into any type of resolutions. I just want to make sure of that. Okay? Next on the agenda is the chair's report. It's in your packet. I'm going to go through it quickly. First item I have listed is another advisory committee I'm sitting on at CCNY with the provost to discuss various items that affect our community. We've met once, we're going to be meeting quarterly. We can bring items to City College that affect us all about. I had mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it here, but one of the people on that committee has created a map which overlays our district, and it shows flood zones, HDFCs, rent stabilized and rent controlled apartments, and they're adding more to that, which I think would be great for a lot of our different committees here when we're looking at different things. So I'm hoping that will come to fruition very soon. I'm also combining with boards 10 and 11 to do a legal forum. We're looking for a space now somewhere at Central Harlem to discuss similar issues that we discussed today: housing, immigration, especially with the climate right now. We need this, so hopefully we'll be announcing that very soon. Myself and Barry continue to work on several committees. One is the restricted access at Columbia. The gates, as many of you know, are still closed, which makes it very difficult for people living in the area coming across 116th. It's an extra 4 blocks to walk around, which we see as unfair. They have a committee called the Inclusive Committee, which I call the Exclusive Committee, because no one from the community is on that committee. So in our last meeting, we asked that someone from the community, doesn't have to be me, be on that committee. We're working with Morningside Heights Community Coalition very hard on that. So hopefully that will come to fruition very soon, just to get input. I know that there's been threats on campus. There have been some vandalism still on campus, so we're aware of that. But there has to be a happy medium. If they have to escort people across, do so. If you have to have a shuttle to take people across, do that. But we need some type of resolve to this sooner than later. I had the pleasure of meeting with the Borough Commissioner for DOT late January, and I just expressed a feeling that we'd like to be a part of the process. Recently, we went over a change where they're going to have delivery zones, taking away some parking spaces in the area, but they chose the spaces, like they did with sanitation with the containerization, and then asked us to comment on it. I'm saying, no, let us be a part of the process of the selection. We live here. We might know a little bit better, or along with you, what works best. So the Commissioner, Ed Pinkard, did agree in situations where they can, they would include us in that conversation, UST, Executive Board, or whatever, in those conversations. So it was very forthcoming to go and meet with them. And lastly, Harlem Waterfront Project, Barry and I, as I said, meet with Cordell Clare's group several times a month. And one of the last items we spoke about is development at the waterfront. We are still looking at another supermarket of some type there that serviced the area quite well. I remember seeing seniors come on Accessoride, come on senior citizen buses, right to Fairway to shop and go back. Some type of housing maybe that is suitable there. We've already been through that process. And just something that really serves the neighborhood, and asking Columbia to work with us. If you want to push people out, which has happened, and want to build things, let us be a part of it. One of the things I ask for personally, you put the structure up over here in the corner, and it's for students, let seniors live there, you know, within that. Let that be a consideration, because we are being pushed out as far as affordability, and that is just not right. So hoping we'll make some headway there. We've worked with Columbia on several issues and making some headway in some areas. So I'm hoping that will continue. And that's my report for this month. I will turn it over to the treasurer, Deidre McIntosh Brown.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. The Treasurer's Report is in your packet. Please take a moment to review it. You'll see our monthly expenses, as well as what our uncommitted balances, as well as thanking you all for coming out to the public hearing that we held on February 10th in response to the mayor's preliminary budget. We are still, we're finalizing our response or our letter of comment, and I'm encouraging all chairs and co-chairs, if they have not sent their final comments, to do so as soon as possible. This is my report. Have a wonderful evening.
Alrighty, District Manager's report is in your packet. You can read that through. Any questions you can ask myself or Uther at some point. We're just trying to move along. West Harlem Development Corp. report.
Good evening, everyone. The West Harlem Development Corporation will be meeting. The annual meeting will be taking place on Saturday, February 22nd. Among the items that are going to be included are the article that was indicated in the news, that's also in the report, about the HDSC Resource Center. At that time, I don't have any comment on that article at all. I don't have any new information. I don't have anything to report. However, at that meeting, we will be discussing it. That is on the agenda. So at that point, there'll be more information. Right now, I don't have any comments on the article at all. But for the sake of information, I did include it in the report to be consistent with how I've always done when it comes to information. Let me see, Board Chair Milton Tingling was the moderator at a forum that dealt with criminal law talks, Understanding New York's Clean Slate Law, that was held on January 30th at the Frederick Douglass Academy. In my report since then, it indicated that there was going to be, he was also going to be an honoree at Assemblyman Al Taylor's Black History Month celebration. That has been postponed. That has been postponed to another date. I don't know why. I just got an email saying that it was postponed and it would be rescheduled at another time. The Little Lions Summer Camp Lottery is going to be taking place. It started as of February, sorry. There's going to be three, excuse me, I'm sorry. There's going to be the Little Lion Summer Camp Lottery for children ages 6 to 12. You can apply by the lottery by contacting, you can go to the WHDC website, or you can call WHDC at 646-476-3394 for more information. The Harlem School of the Arts is having a summer arts experience that opened February 3rd. And it's a 6-week program for children ages 4 to 12 from July 1st to August 15th. There are different sessions ranging in that time period. If you'd like more information about it, you can visit the HSA website directly at hsanyc.org, or you can call them directly at 212-926-4100. The Mama Foundation for the Arts is having music program auditions for its 2025 spring semester. They had some this past February 15th and also on February 22nd. And they will be at 149 West 126th Street. If you'd like more information about that, you can go to the website mamafoundation.org, or you can call them at 212-280-1045. I would like to mention, for those of you who are familiar with the foundation, the leader of that, Ms. Vi Higginson, suffered a loss in her family, the passing of her husband, Mr. Kenneth Wydrow, in January. So we can also definitely offer our condolences to her and her family, that she's still keeping on. There's also the Moda Arts Dance Collective, which is having their Works in Projects showing on Saturday, February 22nd at St. Mary's Episcopal Church. And if you'd like more information about that, go to the modaartsdance.com, MODARTSDANCE.com website. Are there any questions or comments? Thank you.
I have a quick question. May I ask? May I ask a quick question?
Yes, you can.
She mentioned West Harlem Development Corp is having, they'll be holding a meeting on the 22nd. What time is that meeting, and is it public?
The meeting will be held, it's going to be held in the afternoon. Actually, it's an all-day meeting, and it's basically for board members and
So it's not public.
no, it's not a public meeting.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. You had a question?
So I will not be, my appointment to the WHDC will be on the agenda for Saturday. The board has to vote to appoint or confirm based on the CB's nomination, but I did send, relating to an action item later on the agenda, a affordable housing development proposed at 129th Street, which will have units targeted at 60% of AMI, studio, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and so I connected them with the Development Corp in the hopes that this might be a way the DC can put its affordable housing fund into action and help us get more of those actually affordable units. So stay tuned.
Thank you, Barry. UMES report, Reverend Morgan Thomas is under the weather today, so we won't have a report that I know of. Manhattan Borough President's Office. Step right up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sean Brennan. I represent the Manhattan Borough President, Mark Levine. I'm the community liaison for CB9 and 10. Just a couple of things to bring to your attention. First and foremost, community board applications. If you're up for reapplication, please reapply if that is your choice. If you want to join the community board, now's the time. The cutoff date is February 28th. So please get those in. I do not know if there will be an extension, so better to have it in as opposed to waiting till the last minute. That's number one. Number two, the Manhattan Borough President, Mark Levine, has heard from the constituents across the borough who are very, very concerned about what's going on at the federal level. And trust me, our office has been flooded. So our office has started a Know Your Rights campaign. So again, feel free to go to our website, manhattanbp.nyc.gov, for more information. Next up, and this one is going to be rather interesting. Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine and Councilmember Carmen De La Rosa are working to advance a residential parking permit program for Manhattan. Their bill, Intro 674, would pilot this program in neighborhoods north of 60th Street, right outside the congestion zone, to give residents priority for street parking. We know there's a lot going on with that subject matter, but that is one of the bills that's being pushed because we do not know how that's going to play out in the end. And last but not least, please, please, please save the date. Sunday, March 23rd at LaGuardia High School, which is 100 Amsterdam Avenue. We're going to be doing our 2025 State of the Borough. So that information will be sent out so everyone can reserve your spot to come in and hear what the Borough President, Mark Levine, has done and what he's trying to do going forward. If there are any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll give you my cell number, which is 917-923-3374, and my email, which is sbrannon, SBRANNON, at manhattanbp.nyc.gov. Cell phone is the best way to reach me. Either call me or text me. As Walter Alexander can let you know. I will answer sometimes at the strangest hours, so I'm here. Well, he always calls. So I am here for you, and I yield back my time, unless there's any questions. 100 Amsterdam.
What's the deadline for the applications for CB9?
For all CB applications, February 28th, Friday. And that's 100 Amsterdam Avenue at LaGuardia High School, the Fame High School. Yes, 917-923-3374. Any other questions before I yield back my time? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Question? Thank you. So, moving on to the next item is a selection of the election committee. As you know, we have elections coming up in June. We need folks to be on that committee to help with that process. So if you'd like to be on that, contact myself or Yutha by email, text. Let us know that you want to be on that committee.
5 members and 1 alternate.
Okay.
Okay, so it consists of 5 members and 1 alternate, okay? And then getting back to reappointments, please make sure that you get your applications in on time. We have some valuable people sitting in this room that we definitely need to come back and work with us, please. If you don't know if you're up, call Yutha or call myself, and we can let you know, okay? Yes.
Just reminding folks, the Elections Committee, if you are one of the 6 people on the committee, A, you are committing to not run for an office because you can't oversee your own election. B, your role is to organize and make sure that our elections process happens correctly and in the time frame specified in our bylaws. So, in May, we have a meet the candidates meeting, a candidates night, and then the election is held in June. So from now till June, you'd be checking in, making sure that things are on track, making sure that people know and are encouraged to run, making sure they know the timeline, and then running the elections and the candidates night.
Yes, Walter. What positions are open, Barry?
All of them. Chair, first vice chair, second vice chair, treasurer, assistant treasurer, secretary, assistant secretary. I think that's it.
Other question?
Is that 10 positions?
That's
2 secretary, 2 treasurers, first vice chair, second vice chair.
7. 7 positions.
Okay, thanks.
We're asking for volunteers to form a committee, all right? Can reach out to myself you, Thornberry. All right? Thank you. Report from Mayor's Office. Tiffany? Thank you.
Good evening to everyone. Good evening, CB. Forward. Good evening, everyone, and good evening to CB9. Okay, I bring greetings to you from our great Mayor Eric Adams, and I just have to say, despite what's going on, work is still being done. Okay, and I just have a few things to report on. The first being our great Mayor Eric Adams and School Chancellor announced increased outreach efforts to support families in accessing early childhood education opportunities. Reached tentative agreement to sustain operations of 5 community-based early childhood education centers. Mayor Eric Adams and New York City Chancellor have launched a joint effort to expand access to high-quality early childhood education programs for families across the city as part of the fiscal year 2025 adopted budget. Mayor Adams and the New York City Council agreed to a historic 10-point plan to make high-quality childcare more affordable and more accessible for all New York families, including through $5 million in funding for a targeted outreach effort to support families and communities that have traditionally seen low application rates despite demonstrating needs. And my second report is going to be our great Mayor Eric Adams announces an $82 million investment to put home ownership within reach for more New Yorkers. Our great Mayor Eric Adams and New York City Department of Housing, Preservation, and Development Commissioner announced the expansion of the Home First Down Payment Assistance Program, which provides qualified first-time home buyers with up to $100,000 towards the down payment or closing costs on a 1 to 4 family home, a condominium, or co-op in the 5 boroughs. And lastly, I'd just like to state that I know it's last minute, but I just got the information that SYEP, summer youth for our young ones, that application process is now, and the closing date is February. Yeah, we're still in February 28th. So I just want to encourage everyone, if you have any young people that are looking for employment this summer, the process is still taking place and they have until the 28th to put in an application. And that concludes my report. Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. We'll take that back.
Is there a link already set up for the home ownership program, first-time home ownership investment program? Is there an existing link for this one, for this expansion program?
Yes, there is, and then oh, you're online. So if you can write my email down, you can
Sure.
send me an email, and I'll make sure that connect you with that. And my email is TI.Brown, BROWN @cityhall.nyc.gov.
Okay, thanks. That's tibrown@cityhall.nyc.gov.
Correct.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you. Okay. District Attorney's Office is on? Is on?
Yes, I'm on.
Okay.
Hear
Floor
me?
is yours.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Fernanda Lujan. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator for the Manhattan DA's Washington Heights office. So I wanted to announce that our applications are now open for our Gun Violence Prevention Fellowship. Through the hands-on collaboration with staff, mentors, and community partners, fellows will learn about the criminal justice system, and they will also help develop prevention strategies to combat gun violence. To be eligible, youth must be 18 to 25 years old. They must have a high school diploma or a GED, and they must be enrolled in college, have a college degree, or have 1 year work volunteer experience. They must also reside in Manhattan, and we also encourage individuals impacted by gun violence to apply. The application deadline is March 10th at 5 p.m. And this program will run from June 23rd to August 22nd. And it is in person and it is a paid fellowship. It will be $16.50 an hour, and I will make sure to share the flyer in the chat. You can also find this application in our website. And then the second thing that I wanted to also mention in regards to discovery, I'm not currently prepared to answer any questions at this time regarding discovery, but I'm happy to take your questions back to my office and provide a response to the chair so that they can share it with the board. So yeah, our number is 212-335-3320. If anyone has any questions that may arise after this, you guys can also contact us with that phone number. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Fernanda. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Victor.
Also, from State Senator Cordo Claire's office, is Lucas here? Right here. You can use the mic right there. Mhm.
Hello? We can't hear anything. It's muted.
Is that better? Oh, yeah, no, that's definitely better. Wow. Okay, the senator also put forward a bill, I believe 2 weeks ago, making Columbia reopen the gates. We don't know whether that's actually going to go through, but it is in the legislature. It's in, I believe, the Education Committee. So that is something we're doing on our end to get the gates reopened. And then a big thing, this is technically in Community Board 10, but again, it is open to the city-wide. There is a redevelopment of the Lincoln Correctional Facility, which is the former prison on 110th between Lenox and Fifth Avenue. The ESDC, which is the Empire State Development Corporation, which is the state agency in charge of developing and allocating state funds for developing larger projects. They are redeveloping this former prison into quote-unquote affordable housing, but it's going to be co-op style, but the starting rent prices are at $3,000 a month for people below 80% of AMI or $3,700 a month for a two-bedroom. So the ESDC was also the same agency that gave Columbia permission to build this whole campus. So they have public testimony period open until February 23rd at 5 p.m. We've been collecting testimony from across the community. I have a lot of printed out letters over there that give testimony saying you demand increased affordability and that the project must halt until that affordability is promised. If any of you guys could sign those letters, write your name and address. There's a folder right next to it that says, please put signed letters here. Please put the letters in. We need really as many letters put in as possible. And if you have any questions, my name is Lucas. You can ask for me. And our phone number is 212-222-7315. Again, it's on the internet, but we always answer our phones. Yes, it's 212-222-7315.
I have a question for Lucas.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Lucas, what is it that we're asking for? You want the rent to be lowered that is being proposed? You want to stop construction? Or what is it that you're looking to do for that space or wanting to happen in that space?
The demand is a halt of the administrative process until increased affordability is promised. There's been a real lack of transparency on the ESDC's part. They sent us a hearing notice 4 days in advance of the hearing actually happening when they had announced it on their website quietly a month before. So we've been doing as much outreach as we can, but no one else from the state has been doing this outreach. So we are asking for increased transparency and a halting of the process until more community voices are brought in, and asking for much lower AMI percentage and much lower rent prices. So yes, we want it to be redeveloped, but it needs increased funding from the government or from DHCR, I believe, and then into the ESDC. So it needs much more funding and a halting of the process until that funding is got and increased affordability is promised.
Okay, I'll give you a call. Thanks.
Thank you. And again, the letters are on the table over there.
Thank you, Lucas.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cap, you have anything? 30th Precinct have anything? Okay, thank you. Great, thank you. We'll go into public session now. Barry?
Who's the first? Oh, okay. So we have next up the Morningside Heights Library, and I believe, oh, you're here in person. That's why I'm confused.
I can speak right here?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Latish Lee, the library manager at Morningside Heights Library. I just want to speak about one program that we're having in March. It's a community mental health, wellness, and resilience workshop. So it's going to be on Saturday, March 8th from 1:30 to 4:30. And it's basically in partnership with, I can't see it, the Department of Mental Health and Hygiene in conjunction with the New York Public Library and the Morningside Heights branch. We're located on West 113th Street and Broadway. So it's open to everyone who can make it. So yes, I'll put some flyers on the table and you can look, you can see it on our website as well at nypl.org/Morningside Heights. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And just because I forgot to say it, for public session, you sign up in advance and there are 3 minutes per speaker. Our next presenter is someone from America Works about a new family enrichment center. Come on down. And I have a timer running for the 3 minutes, so if you start hearing some chimes, that's your cue.
That's fine. Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Denise Ford. I'm the director for a family enrichment center that's coming to the Hamilton and Morningside Heights area. The Family Enrichment Center, it's a place of creativity and hope. It's guided by belief that parents and other community members are the expert in their lives, and the FEC is meant to foster conditions that help all family members to be their best selves. It's a different approach to other community centers. It's community driven. So community ownership and respect and equality for all. It's based off of 5 protective factors: resilience, relationship building, knowledge, communication, and community. We have things called activities, but we call them offerings. And these offerings are centered, or they come from the community. So I am a staff currently of 1, but there will be a staff of 4 We have a community advisory board, which is why I'm here to raise awareness for that, because I cannot move unless I actually have people on that community advisory board. The offerings that we're looking for, like parent cafes, community co-facilitated workshops, community closet and pantry, and to have youth workshops. There are 3 ways we're looking for the community to get involved. It's either you can come and chill out at the center. We do not take any information. It is you come in and you're welcome and you take what you can from the center and you leave. Or the next way is that you can be a part of the community advisory board and help shape what the center looks like. And the community advisory board, they help to tell us what the community needs are. We collaborate to create ideas to what offerings we would offer to the community and to ensure everyone is included. And then the last way that you can be involved is that we work with the community to co-design the space. The space now is located on 30 Morningside Drive. That's West 113th Street between Amsterdam and Morningside Drive. Okay. The co-design process is literally exactly what it is. I cannot move unless I have community. That means that from the colors of the wall to the furniture that is inside of the space, I need people to be active on the community board, advisory board. And you can join us in building a brighter future. I have some flyers that I have put for an informational that I will be having on this upcoming Monday at 6 p.m. It is virtual. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Alexander Abraham.
Good evening, everybody. Just wanted to very briefly raise 3 concerns of mine with the community. First, CJV Auto Body, located at 529 West 134th Street, has been blocking traffic significantly, disrespecting signs on an ongoing basis, making for a much more accident-prone area. I've submitted close to 50 reports to the New York Police Department's 30th Precinct, mostly to no avail. Something has to be done about this. Something must give, because we can't continue that way. Secondly, I wanted to touch upon the issue of congestion pricing. Irrespective of where we stand on the issue, whether we are in favor or against, many cities around the world that have implemented this measure have exempted the residents of the very boroughs who pay taxes towards the very roads that are being built and maintained. And if it is to stay,
Thank you.
such exemptions should be applied to us. I would propose an elective in-person work tax in lieu if we were not to have it, because the chief cause for public transit really is commuting to and from work. And corporations and businesses that continue to demand the luxury of in-person work need to pay for the very infrastructure that is required to sustain that. That can't be passed on to low to mid-income New Yorkers. And that is to say nothing of the fact that we're making our streets more exclusive to individuals of means at the expense of individuals who have fewer means. Last but not least, I'd like to join a growing constituency of concerned New Yorkers about the conduct of the mayor. I think the very fact that 4 of his deputies have stepped down, the fact that our acting attorney general has stepped down, and 3 top U.S. prosecutors have joined the same, signals that there's something going on that is of tremendous concern. It signals that the people don't get into public service and sacrifice their careers in vain if there isn't a very serious case to be made against the mayor. So I'd like to join many of my fellow New Yorkers and ask the mayor to step down. Mr. Williams, I think we'd all be better off under Mr. Williams' leadership until such time as a general election is called. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Centro Cívico Cultural Dominicano, and I just want to say, while you make your way up here, we were very sad to learn of the passing last year of Dr. Mary Lou Galban. So our condolences again.
Thank you so much for that. I'm actually Dr. Marilu Galvan's daughter, so I really appreciate that. And I'm also joined by Dr. Manuela Acevedo, who is her husband. And I have been selected by our board as of September to be the executive director. So we are continuing the work that she is doing. I am very proud to be here for the first time representing. I also work at SUNY Old Westbury, so I I flew here thanks to congestion pricing. I was able to make it on time. And I have no judgment at this time. You know, there's a lot to be done, so we got to be in community always. So born and raised from in West Harlem, so I am here just to share some of the upcoming events that we have. We just closed the call for proposals for a symposium that we're hosting called Rassemblage, which is a Creole term, and it speaks to decolonizing and the gathering of heritages and culture. We're an arts and culture organization, for those of you who are unaware. We uplift the culture and heritage of the Dominican and the Latino, Latinx, Latina communities in the United States. And we're the oldest Dominican arts and culture organization and one of the legacy organizations in West Harlem, so very proud of that. You'll see the dates for the symposium. We had a call open to the community and we did a town hall in December. And the Centro is under the umbrella of West Harlem Arts in conjunction with Children's Arts Carnival. We are hosting the symposium, and it's going to be extended into not just panels, performances, interventions around our community, but also to the Centro's traditional annual arts and crafts and health fair. So you'll see on this flyer some information about the Rassemblage Symposium. I hope you guys can attend. It's going to be, we're expecting to have exhibitions open on May 30th. The panels and the interventions and all the other parts of the symposium will occur on the following Saturday, May 31st. And then everything will end with our event on June 7th, which is the Arts, Crafts, and Health Fair. And we really want to do a push to have community involvement, as we always do. It's been really wonderful. But this year, I really encourage us to look at homeopathic remedies, indigenous remedies. There's a bill right now and a push to have acupuncture covered by insurance in the legislature. So we want this year's health component of the festival to really be one of the most inclusive of health practices possible. So anyone that you know, you can sign up with a form and get a table. You could do a workshop. You can present something. We normally close down on the Saturday, the street on 145th Street between Broadway and Riverside. We have a stage, we have music, and lots of table and lots of activities. So I hope to see you all there. And our website is online. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. You can reach out to West Harlem Arts for the symposium, to the Centro Cívico Cultural Dominicano on Facebook, Instagram, and our website, which is cccdominicano.com. Did I do
like
it within
that.
time?
Yes. Well, you were a little over, but
All
we're
right.
good. But
Thank you so much.
thank you for coming, and thank you for giving us the information. Next up, we have the Underground Railroad Consortium of New York State.
Testing 1, 2, everybody. Okay, so thank you, Community Board 9, for your time and condolences for the recent loss of your fellow board member. I represent the Underground Railroad Consortium of New York State. It's a not-for-profit partnership of about 40 different historic sites and organizations across the state promoting abolition and Underground Railroad history. We develop programs and initiatives to promote the history of the Underground Railroad. Some of our initiatives include a commemoration of 2027, the 200th anniversary of emancipation in New York State. We also have a website where we map abolitionist sites across the state, historic sites, and provide listings of facilities to visit. We are also the sponsoring organization of the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad Byway. So this is a proposed scenic byway initiative that was inspired by existing state and national scenic byways in Maryland, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. These scenic byways in those states have brought lots of economic development opportunities and increased tourism and just interest and rejuvenation in abolition history. So we're hoping to bring that to New York. Our proposed route would introduce New York State as the chosen home of Harriet Tubman and honor the movement of Harriet Tubman and other freedom seekers through places like New York City, Auburn, Syracuse. Everywhere in the state had a way that it participated in the abolitionist movement. So our route would be about 550 miles long, would start at the Lincoln Tunnel, proceed through the Hudson Valley to Albany, continue west through Auburn to Buffalo and Niagara Falls, and the site of Harriet Tubman's first crossing into Canada. I can read very quickly a definition of what a scenic byway is. A state scenic byway is a self-guided road recognized for its scenic, historic, cultural, recreational, archaeological, and/or natural qualities through New York State legislation. Byways offer unique alternative travel routes, inviting travelers to explore and enjoy attractions along routes. They enhance travel experiences while telling a story about New York State's heritage, recreational activities, and beauty. In addition, local communities with designated New York State byways experience significant positive economic impacts. The proposed Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad Byway offers opportunities to share authentic stories of Harriet Tubman and freedom seekers in New York State. So in terms of the proposed byways route through New York City, it follows Route 9A, or the Henry Hudson Parkway, or the West Side Highway, and it also crosses through community, or through communities represented by the boards 4, 7, and 12, as well as the Bronx Community Board 8. And what we're doing as the sponsoring organization is we're also developing a corridor management plan that includes things like interpretation, tourism, traffic, and safety. So if we get scenic byway status from the state, we will be equipped and prepared to connect the programming and the with the people and not just inbound tourists. So very quickly, I'll establish my ask. We ask that the community board consider a resolution supporting the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad Scenic Byway. I can direct everyone to websites that talk more about the planning that we're doing around this. And we have the support of a number of other organizations, including the NAACP New York State Conference, the New York State Tourism Industry Association, and a number of other municipalities across the state that have also resolved to support this. So happy to answer any questions after. And thank you for your time again.
I would strongly suggest you pay a visit to the Arts and Culture Committee, which meets the first Monday of every month, because a reso usually starts in a committee, goes to exec, then comes to general board.
Thank you. The website is urcnys.org. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Clayton Sanford, which is the end of our in-person public session, and then I know we have several folks on the Zoom who have also signed up to speak, and we will proceed with them as soon as Clayton is finished.
There we are. Hello, everyone. I'm Clayton. I am a member of the board, and I'm also, along with John Martin Green, a member of the LGBTQ task force. And I'm here today to talk about an upcoming event that we are hosting, which is a film screening for the documentary Paris is Burning. For those of you who do not know, Paris is Burning is a film about the Dragon Ball scene in Harlem in the 1980s. And it's filmed very, very nearby. And we're going to be holding this event to learn about the culture and to celebrate the culture. And there will be we will have a film screening, and then afterwards there will be a panel discussion and perhaps even a performance. So we would love to see as many of you there as possible. The details about the event, it will be on Thursday, March 6th. It will be here. Well, it'll be specifically in room 315 upstairs at 6:30 p.m. And we'd love to see you there. RSVP is encouraged. So we do have QR codes on this. We encourage you to scan the QR code and register on the Eventbrite. Otherwise, feel free to just come up to me after the meeting and I can sign you up if you don't do QR codes. So thank you, everyone. We'd love to see you there.
Yay, thank you. You do have time for a question, which it looks like there is one.
There's a question?
So that was a request that you send a soft copy, an electronic copy to Tina and Daria and Walter to distribute.
Perfect. We'll also probably send a copy to the whole board, I think. What's that? Yeah, we'll send it to you as well. We'll have a pile of flyers over there too. Thank you.
Link. Thank you very much. Okay, if the folks who are here on Zoom who have signed up for public, oh.
I'll give my email address. You ready?
Can you repeat the question? We can't hear.
She would like the email address for the district office. E as in Edward, Prince, PRINCE, at cb9msmary.org.
Thank you. So I am going to take a peek here at the panelists and attendees. If you are here and you have signed up for public session, please use the raise hand function in Zoom. And then I will call on you and you will have the 3 minutes. All right, we got 2 people in attendees who need to, and we have Miss Brown. So why is Daria? Daria should be a panelist. We have Mara Tucker. I'm going to allow you to talk, and then you will have 3 minutes once we get you live. All right. Yep.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi. Okay. Hi. My name is Mara Tucker. I'm a parent of 2 children who attend PS 125 in District 5. And I would like to speak about the after school crisis that many schools are experiencing right now in this year. Our school has suffered. We had an after school provider through last year that had been a recipient of a state advantage grant. And this year, without a lot of rationale, the grant was not renewed and our free after school program went away. And we are now working with a provider that is not as good and not free and has been very challenging to work with as a school community. I know this has happened to several other schools across District 5 and probably throughout the city. I wanted to note that the DYCD, which is the main agency in the city that provides funding and programming for our youth, has not opened their after school funding in close to a decade. So no new schools or programs have been able to access that funding and have relied every year to sort of cobble together funding to provide after school. And as anyone knows, whether you have children or not, that having care for your child between the hours of 2:30 to 5:30 or 6 is kind of important if you're a working parent. And especially for our working communities and our working families, having free care, especially on-site free care, is even more important. And so I'm urging the community board and any elected officials or any elected official representatives that are present to please, pressure the DYCD or work with the DOE in whatever capacity to be able to help provide free after school across the city to every school, especially schools that are in working communities. It's a crisis, and it makes it very challenging for families and parents to be able to work and ensure that their children are in safe and high quality after school programming. I mean, school ends at 2:30 and most people's jobs do not end at that time. And it's very difficult to be able to make sure that your kid is spending those, crucial after school hours doing something safe and productive. That's it.
Thank you for your comments tonight. I will just note that at tonight, this morning's Borough Board meeting, where the Borough Board was composing its letter in response to the budget, I was subbing in for Victor, and I did raise the issue of after-school funding cuts by the state, and so that language was inserted and made stronger in the letter to DYCD, but obviously there's a lot more work to do, so thank you for speaking tonight.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Mrs. Brown, and then followed by Kate.
Hi,
Mrs.
good
Brown?
evening. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay. I have a few questions. Wondering first, is the young lady there that was the presenter on Khalif's Law, or is she gone?
she has left, I believe. Oh, no,
Okay.
she's here. She's just behind Walter.
I just had a couple of questions regarding the fight to, I guess, maintain the law as it is and not allow Hochul to revert or change it. Are we just wondering, is there a link or something we can find to look at what exactly the law says and exactly what Hochul is trying to change?
Yes. In fact, I meant to do this and forgot. Our Alliance has a website, and you can link to the law itself on that. And I can send it to, I think it's just Protect Khalif's Law, or it's Protect Khalif's Law. But I'll send it.
Okay, so I'd like to see, Khalif's Law and what Hochul is trying to change, like in some sort of itemized form, so we can get an idea of what the full breadth of it is.
Sure.
Okay, so the other question is the containerization program that is seemingly taking place in Harlem. Are we allowed to get a list of the locations where in which those containers have been installed on the streets and or the spaces that are being proposed? Can we get a list of the spaces that are already holding these large containers and the spaces proposed? And if so, where do we get that list?
You can email the district manager, and we can send you a list of those.
Email whom? I'm sorry.
eprince@cb9m.org.
Okay, got that. And the last thing is the question regarding MTA. MTA, does MTA have the legal authority to issue and collect traffic fines against constituents? The legal authority to do that?
You should probably ask an attorney that question, but the answer, I don't know. And Victor, do you?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm asking because I understand these cameras are on the bus, and some of us church folks, attending Sunday services, we were given graces over many years to be able to double park during services. Certainly, we would move our cars when we were required to because of emergencies and people needing to move out. But there's been an assault on just worshiping and having a peaceful worship on Sundays. And I think that we need to have that kind of nipped in the bud. But I think we can start at the legal authority of an agency to be able to even issue a ticket and collect on a fine. And I think that there's a problem there. And I would like to have some help from community board to quash it and to just get it out of here until they get the legal authority to do so.
Wow, right at 3, that's perfect timing. I would strongly encourage you to attend the next Uniform Services and Transportation Committee meeting, which is held on the first Thursday of every month at 6:30 at our board offices at 3295 Broadway at 133rd Street.
First Thursday of the month, 6:30 p.m.
At 3295 Broadway.
And it's called the Uniform what committee?
Uniform Services and Transportation.
Okay, thank you. The first Thursday of the month. Okay, thank you. And your name, sir?
I am Barry Weinberg. I'm the first vice chair, and I have the responsibility for moving us through public session.
Okay, thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you.
We're going to move it along because we've been in public session a while, and we have Kate, who has her hand up to speak on PS 125, I think.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, my name is Kate Itzkowitz. My daughter also attends PS 125, and I'm here just to echo what Mara Tucker has said. She basically spoke very eloquently and rose all the issues that I had. It's just very important that our children get after school, that all schools get after school, free after school. And I appreciate any support from CB9 and any and all of our elected officials. It's just been, as Mara said, a crisis and a struggle in our school and many schools, and it just shouldn't be. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. And it is a big part of our budget response letter, so thank you for coming tonight. Also, you could actually also reach out to the Shadow Community Board, the Neighborhood Advisory Board 9, which advises DYCD on matters pertaining to Community District 9. So I would encourage you to reach out to them. They are much less known than the Community Board, but they're the Neighborhood Advisory Board, and they serve DYCD as an advisory board.
Thank you for that.
Deirdre. Oh, well, okay, whoever's on is Deirdre then. If you are under the name Deirdre McIntosh Brown with your hand up. Oh, is Principal Leopold on?
Hi, yes, I am.
Oh, okay, great. You're under our YEL co-chair's name.
Oh, no. So, well, I mean, I wouldn't want to be under anybody else's name. So that's an honor. Do I have the floor?
Yes, you do.
Awesome. Just want to say thank you so much, CB9, for your advocacy, not just for our school in District 5, PS 125, the Ralph Bunche School, but also for all of our schools and the community, greater Harlem community as a whole. I just want to echo what several of our parents have said already today, and caregivers as well as others in the community, which is the necessity of having after school for all children, not just in our school, but in Harlem and the greater New York City 5 boroughs. There are many reasons for this, which have already been stated. I did want to give some context, however, for people who may not know some of the information related to after school. So schools do not get separate funding per se for after school. There is a belief by some that all schools are given funding for after school activities to pay, teachers to stay after, or entities, community-based organizations to stay after. And I just want to be clear that that is not the case. During times of COVID and even pre-COVID, schools were given more money with more flexibility. However, that's not the case anymore. And so schools are either expected to pay from their budgets for after school, or they're having partnerships with DYCD, which is local grants and financing of after school programs, or state, which is what we were supported with previously the last 5 years. Last June, we were basically had the carpet pulled out from under us, which was our state funding taken away. With no alternative. And so we had to scramble to try to put something in place for our families, which was not ideal. After school should be a right for all children and families, and it should be free for everyone. And it's an imperative part of the day where many of our children also rely on it for a third meal of the day. Our children are given breakfast and lunch at school, and after school provides a third meal of supper as well for many of our children, as well as a safe and joyous place for children to stay after school hours. And so we're really asking for any support from the city, from elected officials, to support our request for having after school funding, of course, for our school, but not just for our school, but for all schools in District 5 and beyond. I don't know if anyone has any questions for me related to this quandary that we're in terms of after school funding. I do want to add, I appreciate about hearing about the neighborhood group that's working with DYCD. However, we did meet with DYCD, who stated that they just don't have any money in their budget to expand, which puts us at a predicament here. And so we're hoping there's some money somewhere to be able to provide after school, and we're willing to work with anyone who's able to make sure that that happens for the betterment of all children in Harlem and beyond.
Did you apply for discretionary funding for this upcoming year through the city council? They have pots of after-school money, is the only...
Yeah, we actually have met with several who do not have that funding available for us for after school.
Got it. Are there any questions for Principal Leopold of PS 125? Juan Colmenares, but you're going to need to grab a mic. All right, I'll repeat it.
You can't hear him.
Yeah, I'll repeat it. Uh, So the question was if you have applied to the West Harlem Development Corporation for funding, and he encourages you to, excuse me, do that if you have not.
That's amazing, and we definitely have an amazing partnership with them. Unfortunately, what it seems as though is many opportunities that we've been, offered to kind of partner with only cover parts of after school or programs within after school. And so, for example, we've been offered, money to cover a program within after school, but we would have to have a functioning after school program first set up in order to then receive whatever those resources may be within our after school program. But we will definitely follow up with West Harlem Development Corps. They've been an amazing partner for our school and community for many years. So we'll definitely follow up with them as well.
Great, thank you, and thank you for taking the question. I do not see any further hands on Zoom, and I have no further in-person signups. So I believe, Mr. Chair, that concludes our public session.
Thank you. Thank you for those who participated and bring new items to our attention. Really appreciate that. Next up are our action items. First three items, I believe, come out of landmarks, parks. First item is Upside Pizza, located at 2878 Broadway. Who's presenting that?
Is Heather here? I thought I saw her. Oh, there you are.
Hold on.
It's an illuminated sign for a certificate of appropriateness with the Landmarks Preservation Commission. And they're located 2 blocks north of the 110th Street in Broadway subway station. It's for an illuminated sign for Upside Pizza. It's in your packet. Does anybody have any questions? It passed with unanimous consent.
I do have a
in
question
committee.
for you.
Go ahead.
So the signage for that particular establishment is similar to everything else in the area?
Yes, directly across the street from Tom's Restaurant, and it has similar signage.
Okay.
Can we turn up the volume?
So my question, Ted, was, is the signage similar to everything in the area? And the answer was it's very similar to Tom's Restaurant right across the street from this new pizza location. Did you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any objections? Any abstaining from unanimous consent for this item? Seeing none, it moves forward, passes. Thank you, Heather. Next item, pedestrian gate at Hamilton Grange. Who's presenting?
Am I going to present? Or April, did you want to present? Oh, no, go ahead. Okay, that's for a pedestrian gate.
Heather.
Pedestrian gate at Hamilton Grange National Memorial. It's just a request for it to remain open on Mondays and Tuesdays. Is currently being closed. And this is a letter to the National Park Service to have it remain open.
So this is for the gates to be open which days?
At Mondays and Tuesdays at 141st Street.
Okay, Hamilton Grange. Any objections, any abstentions from this action item? Seeing, hearing none, it passes. Thank you. Next is West Harlem Historic District Council. Letter of response.
This was prepared by Liz Wytikis. Liz, do you want to present?
Sure. This is a letter just reminding the Landmarks Preservation Commission that we had a meeting with them 18 months ago about the proposed West Harlem Historic District, and they have yet to act. So this is merely just a letter saying you said you were going to do a whole bunch of research and come back to us, and
we're still waiting for that. I'm loud.
Thank you. Any objections or abstentions from this item? Okay. Thank you, Landmarks and Parks, for that, those three. Appreciate that. Next reso is, looks like it's coming out of Housing, HDFC Self-Determination, Preservation, and Affordability Act, S808.
Yes, it is. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, this was presented to us at our meeting by the HDFC Coalition, and this is a bill regarding Self-Determined and Preservation and Affordability Act, currently up in the Senate and Assembly. You can see the bill numbers there if you do want to take a further look, but we went through this with them and we did not have a quorum, so we brought it to exec, I believe, and this is our official vote for this. Anybody have questions?
Unanimous consent.
Was this
Is a question.
circulated in the email?
Hold on. There's one question on the floor first, and then I get to person online. Go ahead, Ms. Caldwell.
No.
Can you repeat the question?
The question was whether this was having anything to do with transitional housing and bringing more transitional housing into the community, and the answer is no. No.
We didn't hear you.
Can you turn up the volume?
Barry.
We can't hear.
I will repeat what Barry is saying. This is a bill regarding HDFCs, which are low-income, affordable ownership housing, nothing to do with transitional or mental health housing or anything, sustainable housing or anything like that.
Unanimous consent.
Was this circulated in the email? I'm not seeing it in the packet. Could it be forwarded, circulated, please?
Letting the office
Hold on
review.
1 second. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, it's in the packet.
What was the bill
We're
number?
checking. Bill number is S808, and for Assembly, that's 2707.
What's your email, Josh?
Joshua Christopher at iCloud.com.
Yes. We'll send it to you, and we'll come back to this, Joshua.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
They both got missed?
Okay. All right, so we're going to jump down to item number 6, mental health awareness and address contributions of social determinants of health. Laquita?
Reso supports the mayor's proposal on assisting, it's a $650 million program for 5 years. The Health and Environment Committee has been focusing on mental health for the last 3 years, and this is the first time from the city and one of the city agencies that something has come up to tackle the issue, which deals with not just mental illness, but homelessness, all the other determinant factors that hadn't been dealt with before, environmental factors. So it's a first attempt. We welcome it, so we want to support it and just get something going because too much is happening and we always hear about the negative, but this is something positive with supporting the mentally ill.
Any questions?
Any objections, abstentions from this item? Hearing none, passes. Thank you. Thank you, Laquita. Unanimous consent? Where are we? Item number 7, installation of protected bike lanes on West 155th Street between Broadway and Edgecombe Avenue. I think Michael Iglesias is going to present.
Thank you. So originally Felipe was going to present on this, but apparently he has his honeymoon. So if anybody on uniform service and transportation wants to jump in, help out, that's also great. So what we're proposing, I think, is it's not a big ask. It's an installation for a protected bike lane on West 155th Street between Broadway and Edgecombe Avenue. Safety is a huge concern that we have, and protected bike lane is not something that's a huge ask. The city is supposed to be mandated to install at least 50 miles of protected bike lane each year between 2023 and 2026. This is just 0.3 miles. It's frankly disappointing that a lot of the protected bike lanes end at 110th Street as it enters Harlem. So this is just a first step, and I would like to allow Tom to talk for the rest of this because he has a personal story.
So I guess I want to speak a little bit about why this resolution was specifically proposed for 155th Street. So 3 months ago, a young man was killed by a speeding driver while biking along 155th Street. I can't claim to know exactly what his family is feeling. However, I do know that when my brother was killed in a similar manner, there was no way I was attending a meeting 3 months after he died. So 5 years ago, my brother Charlie was traveling through an intersection that had significant street width, just like 155th Street. He was hit by a speeding driver and killed instantly. It was just 2 weeks before his 28th birthday. He had just signed a lease to move in with his girlfriend, and instead he died in her arms. Another family is feeling the same kind of grief that mine has for the past 5 years. I'm impressed that the community board has taken prompt action to remedy this situation. By passing this resolution, the board can push DOT to make the kind of changes that will prevent more deaths from happening here, so that fewer families will have to experience the kind of grief that mine has. I believe there's room for a parking protected bike lane on 150th Street that would lower the comfortable driving speed on the street to the legal speed limit and make it safer for everyone. So the circumstances of this crash were very extreme. There were very high speeds involved. The DOT has the tools to make it much less likely for these kind of deaths to occur. Traffic deaths in general of drivers, pedestrians, and bicyclists are the largest source of non-disease deaths in the United States. And other countries do not have anywhere near the order of magnitude of deaths that we do. And it's because they make common sense street redesigns. And I hope the board can push the DOT to make the same kind of common sense redesigns on 155th Street.
Yeah.
Limiting safe travel options for cyclists. Would this protected bike lane connect existing arteries?
Yes, so from my understanding, and again, I can't, well, if anybody else can speak to this personally, if they have experience with it, from my understanding is that there is protection that stops at Edgecombe. So basically, this resolution is just asking for 0.3 miles to connect to Broadway, where you know, it would be a much safer situation and to prevent traffic deaths and accidents, which again, we shouldn't have to have somebody come here to say that they've lost a family member. It should never happen in the first place. You know, I'm turning 28 pretty soon. So please think about your family, think about your loved ones, and we ask for unanimous consent.
Is that where the bridge is?
Yes.
Is there an alternative route offered to make it safer? Because there's a lot of traffic coming across that bridge.
All the way down to the bridge. It connects the Greenway on the west side, along the West Side Highway, to the Greenway on the east side. So it doesn't go across the bridge, it goes down to Yankee Stadium, if that's what you're thinking. It ends right at Edgecombe, and then they can go down the hill. Follow me? Okay. It's Colwell.
Yes, I mean, we're in conversation with DOT, but we gotta also take a firm stance. Like, if you look at where all the protected bike lanes are in Manhattan,
Can you repeat what you said?
if you look at where all the protected bike lanes are in Manhattan, they're in places like the West Village, Soho, East Village. They're not in places like Harlem. They're not in places like Brooklyn or the Bronx. There is a need for this, that if there were protected bike lanes, people would use them. But unfortunately, it stops at 110th Street. It stops from people who are traveling up from Broadway and Amsterdam to be able to use this. So I understand that, hey, you know what, there's arguments for feasibility, but at the same time, at some point, you gotta just say enough is enough. And you gotta ask for something to start, but it should be much more expansive after this.
Question.
Not a question, but just a piece of debate comment. I have a nuanced view of bike lanes. I think there are good bike lanes and stupid bike lanes. I think that DOT has imposed stupid bike lanes on this board before. I think that this is an example of a really good, smart, protected bike lane. It is not just a strip of paint. It protects the bicyclists. It connects existing greenways. And it does so on one of the few crosstown streets that goes all the way from the east side of the island to the west. This makes a lot of common sense. I will, this board fought with DOT for many years over their plans to put in painted bike lanes on Amsterdam north of 125th because it's a giant hill, it's the designated semi-truck route, it's got the M11, M104, M100, and M101. And if you look out there today, no one is in those damn bike lanes because the buses are, or there's something else, they bike in the middle of the street. So we know from bad bike lanes, this seems like a very smart, good bike lane.
Thank you.
Of course, my deepest sympathies. It's heartbreaking what you said. I just want to mention one thing too. And I don't know how it feeds into that area because I live further south near 110th. But there are people who have gotten hit by bikes on those bike lanes because they don't stop for red lights and so forth. So I sometimes think it's maybe also important to talk about the speeding cars in our area that, are not really, they're not really controlled enough. So that's the only thing I just wanted to mention, that I know a few people that have gotten hit by bikes in those bike lanes. So we need to be careful about that, too.
Call for a vote on this item. No means you're abstaining, Ms. Colwell? You're voting no.
All right, we are going to have a roll call vote on this item. Walter Alexander, how do you vote? April Adams. Joyce is not here. Miriam's excused. Chris Berry. Reverend Caldwell, you are no? Yeah, that's a no? Okay. Felipe is excused. Vanessa Kaufman. Abstain. Joshua Christopher.
Yes.
Daniel Clark Jr. is abstained. Juan Colmenares. Juan's a yes. Gretchen Keneally is excused. Carlton Davis, abstaining. Justin Dent is a yes. Ms. Dunn. Ms. Dunn is a yes. Ms. Eastman is a yes. Victor Edwards, yes. Lydia Garrison, abstain. John Martin Green's excused. Daria Hardiman, I think I saw her on. I think we tried to promote her, actually. That might have been. We'll come back to Daria. We're going to try to get her. Yeah, okay, she's not on anymore. Monique Hardin Cordero. Yes. Laquita Henry. So yes. Michael Iglesias.
Yes.
Yes. Heather Jason. Yes. Chris Johnson. Chago Keel. Yes. Ted Kovalev.
Yes.
Tina Lumley is a yes. Deirdre McIntosh Brown. Ilana Mercado is a yes. Dr. Mongoya is not here. Signe Mortensen. Solomon Prophet. Annette Robinson. Clayton Sanford. Veronica Savage, I was excused. Pat Walter Johnson. Liz Whitetakis. Francina Waring. Barry Weinberg is a yes. Shanika Wilson. And Lisa Yu is excused, not here. Okay, so the vote is, I believe those were 3 abstentions, 1 no, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 yes. So the measure passes, 27 in favor, 1 against, 3 abstaining.
Thank you. Okay, let's go back to items 4 and 5, I believe. HDFC Self-Determination Preservation and Affordability Act S808. Joshua, you had a chance to read those?
Yeah, there's a lot in here. I would love more time. I'm not going to stand in the way of the committee, but I would push for a delay, but I would abstain if we want to move forward.
Okay, 1 abstention.
We have a unanimous consent called. And 1 abstention.
Okay.
Anybody voting?
This is for reso number 4.
Reso number 4.
Yes.
Self-determination.
Yes, we came back to it. We tabled it, now we're coming back. Resolution number 4, HDFC Self-Determination Preservation. Unanimous consent, and we have 1 abstention? Okay.
Just 1 abstention,
Yes.
Josh? Okay.
Did it show up in your email, though, when I sent it?
He said he got it. He just
I
didn't have-
received it. There's just a lot there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, item number 5.
Okay.
Wait, can we read the item? Thank you.
I can explain it a little bit if you like. Okay. Organization Urban Resource Institute came to us about a year ago with their plan for a supportive housing for families and children, survivors of domestic violence. as well as permanent affordable housing for the community, a project on 130th and 129th, I believe. And we spoke to them about more affordable units for families, and they did increase some of their larger units, I believe. They listened to some of what we said, and they came back to us, and they're looking for a letter here to support them because they're looking for some financial help. So they're looking for our support again, officially. You can see the unit mix. Hopefully you got that, Josh, in the email. And
Thank you.
Barry mentioned earlier he also connected them with WHDC to see if we can get even more affordable housing. It doesn't say that? We will friendly amendment that. It says 130th Street, but it does not say between Amsterdam and Convent, right? Yeah. So we will add that as a friendly amendment, the cross streets. Any other? Otherwise, did I hear a call? Thank you.
Unanimous consent, I hear. And a second?
Second.
With the friendly amendment.
With the friendly amendment, correct.
Yes, with the friendly amendment.
Any abstentions? Any votes no on this item? Seeing none, it moves forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, does that conclude that portion? Yes. So moving on to, I believe, renewals, liquor license applications. We have quite a few because we held over some from prior. Solomon?
So in front of you is renewal liquor license applications from the month of December and January. These are all renewals in front of the board. The first one is Chicken at 3508 Broadway. We checked with the 30th Precinct, checked with SLA, and this passed the UST committee unanimously. The next one is Brisa Dominicana Restaurant at 1764 Amsterdam Avenue, also within the 30th Precinct, and this also was approved by the 30th as well as the clean on the SLA. The next one after that is 1274 Amsterdam Trattoria. This is between 122nd and 123rd Street on Amsterdam, and same thing here. This is in the 26th Precinct, was approved by NYPD, and also a clean SLA record. Number 11 is A Modo Nostro, AKA Bar 314 at 3143 Broadway. That's between LaSalle and Tiemann Place within the 26th Precinct, and it was approved by the NYPD, as well as a clean SLA record. Number 12 is AVI Food Systems and Catering. This is at 500 Riverside Drive. That is between 123rd Street and LaSalle Street within the 26th Precinct, and it was also approved. Number 13 is V&T Restaurant at 1024 Amsterdam Avenue between 110th Street and 111th Street within the 26th Precinct. This was also approved by the NYPD and also had a clean SLA record. Number 14, 2846 Broadway, this Food Service Corp, AKA Community Food and Juice. This is on 2893 Broadway between 112th Street and 113th Street within the 26th Precinct. This was also approved by the NYPD and had a clean SLA record. Number 15, Rai Ken Corporation at 1467 Amsterdam Avenue between 132nd and 133rd Street. This is within the 26th Precinct. This was approved by the NYPD and also had a clean SLA record. Number 16, Scion Enterprises, LLC, AKA Scion Cafe at 763 St. Nicholas Avenue between 148th and 149th Street. This is within the 30th Precinct. And this also was approved by the NYPD and had a clean SLA record. Number 17, Masawa Restaurant Corp., 1239 Amsterdam Avenue between 120th and 121st Street. This is within the 26th Precinct, and this was approved by the NYPD and had a clean SLA record. Number 18, Pastici Restaurant Corp., 125 LaSalle Street, between Claremont and Broadway, within the 26th precinct. This was approved by the NYPD as well as had a clean SLA record. Number 19, Dame Tavern, AKA The Craftsman, 3155 Broadway, New York. This is between LaSalle and Tiemann Place within the 26th precinct. This was approved by the NYPD and also had a clean SLA record. Number 20 is DMC LLC, AKA Dear Mama. This is at 611 West 129th Street, between Broadway and 12th Avenue. And this is within the 26th precinct. And this was approved by the NYPD as well as had a clean SLA record. And the last one is the trustees of Columbia University Ferris Booth at 2920 Broadway. This is on the northeast corner of Broadway and 114th Street within the 26th precinct. This was approved by the NYPD and had a clean SLA record. One note that I will make on this one, this was the only renewal liquor license application that did not have unanimous support from the UST committee in response to the university's closure of the gates. This is number 21, the trustees of Columbia University at Ferris Booth.
2 questions.
Sure.
In the back, Juan? So noted. Barry.
I have a friendly amendment to Modo Nostro Bar 314. It's right on our voting sheet, but the reso says that it's at 1260 Amsterdam Avenue, and it's at 3143 Broadway.
Yeah, must have been a typo there. We can correct that.
And then the second is I move for unanimous consent for items 8 through 20. Yes, except not Columbia.
Okay. Heather, 2 abstentions on items 8 through
So
20.
Heather, Jason, and Reverend Caldwell abstain on
Correct.
items 8 through 20?
Yes.
Okay. Did anyone second unanimous consent?
Ted,
So that brings us back to item 21? I think.
Correct.
Oh,
On what, 21? Okay.
you wanna,
I move for a vote on 21. I object.
All right, we're going to do a roll call vote. Walter T. Alexander. Walter's a no. April Adams. We're voting on a liquor license for Columbia. That's 21. April? No. Joyce, Miriam, Chris Berry. Reverend Caldwell. Abstains. Vanessa Kaufman. No. Joshua Christopher.
Abstain.
Abstains. Juan Colmenares. Carlton Davis is a no. Justin Dent. No. Marita Dunn. No. Elizabeth Eastman. Victor Edwards. Lydia Gerson. Lydia's a yes. Daria Hardiman. Monique Hardin Cordero. No. Laquita Henry. No. Michael Iglesias. Abstains. Heather Jason. No. Chris Johnson. No. Chago Keel. He abstains. Ted Kovalev.
abstain.
Abstains. Tina Lumley. No. Deirdre McIntosh Brown. No. Ilana Mercado? No. Dr. Mongoya is not here. Signe Mortensen? No. Solomon Prophet?
Abstain.
Abstains. Annette Robinson? No. Clayton Sanford? Abstains. Pat Watler Johnson? Abstains. Liz Whitetakis? No. Francina Waring? Barry Weinberg is a no. Gen Z doesn't drink anyway. Shanika Wilson? No. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 noes. I'm going to count abstentions next. 1 abstention, 2 abstention, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 abstentions. And I think there was 1 yes, but I'm going to count. Hold on, I'm going to count anyway. 1. Yeah, it was just 1. So the item 21 fails with 1 yes vote, 22 no votes, and 8 abstentions. Trustees of Columbia University have been rejected in their renewal for a liquor license.
Okay, we have two other changes, one corporate change, one kind of disclosure. The number 22 is Argo Enterprises Incorporated, aka La Rista Italian Kitchen and Bar. This is at 142 Hamilton Place. This is between 143rd and 144th Street. They put in an application to let us know that they're removing one of the principals of the establishment. So they had to disclose that. There was no issues with this particular establishment from the 30th precinct, and this passed UST unanimously. So in this particular case, there were 2 owners of the establishment, and they are removing one of the owners.
There are laws about who can own establishments that receive liquor licenses in New York. So they have to disclose when their ownership changes. I move for unanimous consent on 22.
One abstention? Heather? Anybody else? A no vote or another abstention on this item? No? Okay. Seeing none, it passes. Thank you. All righty, moving on.
Number 23 is also a disclosure. This is coming from Clove Indian Restaurant at 1592 Amsterdam Avenue. This is between 138th and 139th Street within the 26th precinct. And they are adding a sidewalk area. So there's a new New York City outside dining program, and they are applying to add a sidewalk area for this establishment. This is I believe the first of this new program that will be starting in the spring that we've gotten a disclosure for. This did pass UST committee unanimously.
With all due respect,
Yes?
yeah, we were to find out whether or not this was an enclosed cafe or not. And
It is not an enclosed sidewalk area.
okay, good.
I have a question, and this comes from anecdotally at Borough Board. Many boards are finding that the DOT is not enforcing minimum sidewalk widths after a cafe. And so I was just wondering, did they present their plans that demonstrated that they would be in compliance, because DOT apparently is not checking very closely?
I did not see that on the plan itself. That they didn't submit the plan with the application. In terms of the width of the sidewalk cafe, I don't recall seeing it. I can double check. If you, I don't know if you want to table this and I can
No,
take a look.
I don't, I'm not asking to table. We should.
I'll second tabling.
We should, I haven't moved to table. We should talk to DOT and just make sure that they're not asleep at the wheel, so to speak.
They have a set footage.
I know they do, but
DOT has to go out and enforce it, or if there's question, they have to be on site.
DOT was very eager to have this enforcement power and seems very eager to not use it. So that's just the scuttlebutt.
It did not. It did not have any open or existing violations.
I move in favor of item 23, but I also think we need to talk to DOT. How many seats are there, Heather asks.
I would have to look at the disclosure form that they filled out. Yeah, just give me 1 second.
While Solomon is looking, as a reminder, if you are a committee co-chair and you have not yet submitted your response to the agency's response to our budget requests, you should, I echo our great treasurer in urging you to do so. It's been due. This is the answer now. Walter.
It's for 12 additional seats. 12.
Should be better than earlier than March 4th. Okay, Solomon says the answer is 12. 12 seats. I'll ask for unanimous consent on 23 then?
Mark down that Ted Kovalev would prefer to vote against it, but will abstain.
So noted, Ted.
Are there any other
Victor also notes that he abstains.
Any other abstentions besides Kovalev and Edwards on number 23? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, moving forward with the agenda, any old business? New business? A motion to adjourn the meeting would be in order at this time.
At 8:55, so move.
Also been joined by the incomparable Manhattan reps to the Department of the Aging, our own Madison Ayala. What's your name here, please, ma'am? May I have?
Thank you so much.